Hello, today will be the last day of me posting a Reader's Workshop video. So we'll be finishing talking about nonfiction books today and finishing off this bend of the unit. So what we've learned so far is that we know that nonfiction readers grow knowledge. They need to pay attention to the details. They need to put the parts of the text together in your mind. You need to ask questions, and you need to think about, what is this book and this part teaching me? So when I'm reading the rest of this book today, that's what I want you to be thinking about, asking questions and seeing what you can learn. And when you go off to do your own reading today at the end of listening to me, then I want you to be doing those same things, okay? That's how we get better at reading. Okay, so we left off at zebra. So remember, we knew zebra was going to be in the story because of the cover. Zebra. I think they're really beautiful animals. A zebra's hair grows in black and white stripes. These stripes help it stay safe. Whether standing still or running, zebras usually stick together in a herd. Seeing so many stripes confuses hunters such as lions and hyenas. Fact, a zebra's hair shows if it's healthy or sick. The short hair on a healthy zebra's mane sticks up straight. A sick zebra's mane flaps over to the side. So you can tell those are healthy because all of their manes, this part, is showing that they're healthy because they're sticking up straight. If you had zebra hair, you wouldn't have to work at being one of a kind. Each zebra has a straight pattern that is completely unique. That's kind of cool. The next one is a three-toed sloth. So they look a little kind of greenish to me in that picture. It's interesting. I know that they hang out upside down a lot, and sloths move very, very slow. And it looks like he has a lot of bugs in his hair, so I'm going to say no thank you. Three-toed sloth. A three-toed sloth's hair often looks green because little plants called algae grow all over it. Sloths live in damp rainforests and rarely move, making their bodies a good place for algae to live. However, having green hair isn't a bad thing. Green hair helps sloths blend into their homes in the treetops and hide from predators such as jaguars and harpy eagles. Fact, three-toed sloths spend most of their lives upside down, so their hair grows differently than other hairy animals. When a three-toed sloth hangs upside down, its hair falls over its body, so even upside down, the sloth's hair keeps its skin dry when it rains. If you had three-toed sloth hair, you'd never be alone. Because of the algae, your hair would be home to many different kinds of harmless insects. I don't like that. Oh, thank you. You hear my dogs barking? The next one is an Arctic fox, and I think this is really cool. Remember when we talked about Arctic foxes, how in the winter their fur is white to match the snow, and then in the summer it becomes brown to match the grass and the trees? Arctic fox. An Arctic fox's hair is snow white in winter. Each hair is also fat, helping make its coat thick and warm. As the days grow longer and heat up, an Arctic fox sheds its wintertime hair and grows a new brown coat. Now each hair is skinny, helping make its coat thin and keeping the fox from overheating. Besides staying comfortable, changing its coat keeps an Arctic fox perfectly colored to sneak up on prey such as lemmings and wolves. Fact, when getting ready for winter, Arctic foxes also grow long fur between their toes and the soles of their feet. Their furry feet help them run on ice without slipping. If you had Arctic fox hair, you'd never get tired of your hair color because it would change with the seasons. I think I would like this, actually. I think this one looks really cool. What do you think? The next one is a giant pangolin. So it kind of looks like they have armor. That's how I always remember them. A giant pangolin's body is covered with scales which consist of the same substance as hair. Like hair, the scales are made of tough keratin and grow off the skin. A giant pangolin's scales also start small and grow longer until at last they fall out. New scales grow in to replace the ones that are lost. Fact: the back edges of a giant pangolin's scale-like hairs are razor sharp. So if attacked, a giant pangolin just curls up tight to stay safe. Do that picture right at the bottom over there. If you had giant pangolin scales, you wouldn't need to put on a helmet to ride your bike because your scales would protect you. That looks kind of cool. Next one is a porcupine. A porcupine has a normal coat, but it also has special hairs too, called quills. Quills are stiff, needle-like hairs. If attacked, barbs on each end of each quill poke into the enemy's skin. Then, even when they separate, the porcupine's quills stay stuck in the enemy. Fact: a porcupine's skin gives off a fatty substance that coats each quill. This fatty substance contains a germ-killing chemical, so if a porcupine accidentally pokes itself, it won't get an infection. If you had porcupine quills, bullies would never bother you because your hair is spiky. I don't think I would want that. The next one is oh my goodness. It's called a star-nosed mole. It looks not very pretty. A star-nosed mole's hair, unlike most animal hair, can lie flat in any direction. Pushed forward, sideways, or straight back, its hair will never stick up. It will always lie flat against its body. This lets a star-nosed mole slip easily through its underground tunnels, whether it's going forward or backing up. Fact: a star-nosed mole has comb-like claws that spread oil through its hair. That makes its coat waterproof. That's important since it lives in damp tunnels. So it's showing it down there, living in the tunnels. Interesting. If you had star-nosed mole hair, your hair would stay put in whatever direction you comb it. This is good for crazy hair day, huh? Wild animal hair could be cool for a while, but you don't use your hair to stay afloat or confuse predators. You don't need your hair to change with the seasons, be a helmet, or lie flat in any direction. You'll never defend yourself with your hair no matter what. So if you could keep wild animal hair for more than a day, what kind would be right for you? Luckily, you don't have to choose. The hair that grows on top of your head may look different from time to time, but it will always be your hair. It will be what you need to protect your head from heat, chills, and bumps and make you look your best. And remember, I'll tell you more information about hair. So, which animal's hair would you like to have? Let's see. A star-nosed mole, porcupine, giant pangolin, Arctic fox, which is what I want, three-toed sloth, or a zebra. That's all we read today. So if you could tell me what kind of animal's hair you would like to have, that would be great. Now, it's time. You need to go and read a nonfiction book for at least 30 minutes and then go tell someone at your house about what you read and about what you learned, okay? So remember to find a spot that you won't be distracted in and go read. And I hope you have fun, and I know you can do it, and I'm so proud of you. Bye.